What is the background story of Junior Achievement?
Junior Achievement is the country's largest not-for-profit with a focus of empowering young people to succeed in life and in work. We were founded in the year 1919 back in the US, and the objective behind it was, as economies grew or cities emerged, there was a need for equipping the people who are moving from rural areas into these cities on A, productivity, and B, on free enterprise. And so the organization was set up to help with a smooth transition or in developing of the workforce into these emerging cities. And of course, over time, over the years, it has grown to be now in more than 100 countries, reaching at least 10 million young people and working with more than 400,000 business executives who serve as mentors in delivering our content in schools.
What is one unforgettable moment that you have experienced as JA?
Well, there are many moments. So the one which I'm most proud of is, I think it was the year 2010, when for the first time in Africa we hosted a youth enterprise conference, bringing together more than 24 countries across sub-Saharan Africa to come and compete. And that has grown over the years in a revolving manner, where each country now hosts students from across Africa who come to share and exchange ideas around free enterprise. So given that in Africa, as an entity, we are hardly 40 years old, this was critical because we're able to bring together business leaders and governments to see the value of the work that we do. And based off that, then we've been able to build momentum around our mission work in Africa.
How do you use technology to help you achieve the mission and vision of JA?
So traditionally, as a program, we've delivered our content in classroom using teachers and business executives. And that's how we've assumed education to be. But over time, there's been a lot of advances in technology. What we've done now is we've digitized most of our content. It's available online, and the benefit of it is that it allows learners to self-instruct. So they have autonomy and they own their learning process. So students or learners out there, irrespective of grade, are able to go online, access our content, and be able to drive or own their learning journey. Secondly, what that has done, it has allowed parents also to serve as mentors and also be involved in the learning process of their children. We've also partnered with hardware companies where we have tablets, desktops, and laptops that we offer to schools. And this allows students or schools that will not necessarily have access to the digital content now be able to be part of that community. Recently, we've also launched a very interesting partnership where we've gamified our content and learners are able to download apps onto their gadgets, either on iOS or Android, and be able to play as they learn. Finally, working with universities, we're setting up innovation hubs or corners where institutions of higher learning are giving us spaces in which we develop the tech capability to allow us to deliver our content. So we'd come in, do smart boards, provide laptops, desktops that will allow learners to be able to access the content that we have available digitally.
What is your unique value proposition?
There are many unique value propositions for JA, I think, but the most compelling one is where we use or we work with private sector to allow their business executives to come into classrooms as mentors. Like I mentioned, we are in education and we offer our programs across 3 thematic areas of entrepreneurship, work readiness, and financial literacy. In as much as our programs are experiential, the greatest asset or value that we bring is having business executives come into classrooms and speak to entrepreneurship or speak to financial literacy or speak to work readiness. There's a huge difference, for example, when a teacher in class is instructing learners on how to do a CV to get a job or to do a cover letter. But if there's a HR practitioner from industry, they'll speak to how to do it to get that job. And the benefit of having the practitioner is they can extend the classroom further and probably do a mock interview and give immediate feedback. And so what that does, it brings to life all these theoretical concepts or imaginations about free enterprise. So from where we see to how I view it, our compelling or the value add that we bring into education is really the engagement of business executives walking to those classrooms and speaking life or sharing the experiences that now make the learners have this first-hand interaction with the place of work. And so by the time they move into or transition into the world of work, they've formed opinions. They probably have a fairly good idea about the career pathway they might want to take, and that makes their transition into productivity more effective.
What are your company core values?
At the heart of what you do, like I mentioned, is we are volunteer driven. And so we work with different entities. So private sector, public and social sector. And I think one of the critical aspects in the work that you do is embracing teamwork. Why? In Kenya, for example, we are working with at least 50 private sector companies across more than 200 schools, which means more than 400 teachers, government officials, school administrators. We have volunteers, we have our alumni. And how do you bring these different people or agents or agencies together to have a shared value or common belief in the work that you do? For me, I think our theory of change is self-efficacy. So the belief that young people, through seeing one and then trying out and learning from those experiences, then stand a greater chance of succeeding. And at the heart of that, as an organization, both globally and the chapters that we have, is the belief in the boundless potential of young people. That young people can be and do anything that they want to choose to or put their time into it. In country, we have three values that stand out. One is passion for the work that we do, because largely we are volunteer-centered, we are volunteer-driven. Integrity in all that we do, speaking to issues like now we have primary school programs. How do we manage our programs while protecting the learners or children's rights? And finally, excellence. Excellence is important because it's what elevates the work that we do and continues to keep us in the business that we are in. We've been doing this for the last over 100 years globally, and in Kenya at least 15 years. Most of that is attributed to the quality of work that we do and the impact that you're able to achieve with the young people that you work with, which demonstrates value to our partners and belief in the work that we are doing.
How has your experience at Nairobi Garage been like?
Co-working spaces, I think, provide a fantastic melting pot for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. They provide a platform where like-minded individuals can meet to create, invent, challenge each other, and importantly, grow together. Having been here has exposed not only me, even part of my team, to different mindsets, to different lenses that we use, either by meeting people that we're in the same vertical with or outside the work that we do. And I believe that those experiences or those interactions eventually lead to happier workers and more productive teams, simply because there's no one day which is the same at the office, if I'm allowed to say that. You'd walk in and even probably meet an entrepreneur who's not domiciled here, who was probably just passing by. And those different interactions allow you to challenge your thinking and look at things very differently. So from where we're at, we've been able to get great value for being here through interactions with people and also experiences. And importantly, I think it allows us to focus on what is important to us. And I think it's that focus that allows us to achieve our goals faster and more effectively.
What is the parting shot, rather words of encouragement for business people who are watching you today?
What I've learned over time in the work that I've been doing and what has been probably critical to what we've been able to achieve is stickiness. I'll urge entrepreneurs, individuals out there to develop resilience and stick in until it breaks, because that's what makes the difference.